What's going on, everybody? I'm going to do a review slash commentary of this Jordan Peterson video right now. It's called The Truth About Cancel Culture. I don't know who this guy is interviewing him, but I'm going to endeavor to add a layer of depth to the intellectual conversation if I feel inspired to do so, because it is a topic of importance to me. And number two, if I feel like goofing on Jordan Peterson, well, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because he's a really intellectual guy, and on the other hand, he's very pompous, which can bug me a little bit. And on the other hand, he's always getting his panties in a bunch, meaning like his feelings are hurt easily, it seems. And
Well, you don't know how would I put. You don't know what it's about in my life. Well, I don't know.
so I will do a better impression of him. The secret to a Jordan Peterson impression is to do a higher vocal pitch, sort of like Kermit the Frog, but you raise the pitch up higher. You make it extremely articulate, and you make it extremely, do we say, insecure sounding. So let's begin here. Actually, I want to see if this is on. I want to see, is this actually on? Let's come over here to Jordan Peterson, everybody. That's no fun. All right, I'm going to come back over here, over to my money shot, and see how it goes listening to Jordan Peterson, all right?
You know, if you really make fun of me, I might ask that Twitter put you into a digital ghetto that is if you're anonymous with me and you're mean to me, I will ask my good pal Elon Musk about putting you into a digital ghetto with me. Yes, it's true.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to go zooming in right on your mug right there, and then we're going to get going. What's going on?
Describe from a psychological perspective what you think cancel culture actually is and where it stems from.
Well, there's a malevolence aspect to it, which is just the delight that people can take in being destructive. And that's part of the whole constellation of, let's say, antisocial behavior. But there's a more subtle...
I've experienced this longer than you. Do you know that? Way back when you were in your not yet famous diapers, I was having my own experience with notoriety and people coming after me for the dumbest of reasons, Jordan. Like thinking marijuana is addictive. God forbid I say it's addictive. I'm bad for the marijuana movement. I think it should be legal, but I don't think we should have any misgivings about what the consequences are of something you engage in habitually. So,
No, please continue, Jordan Peterson.
Element to it, which
it looks like a French flag on you. I don't know what that is right there, but for a second I thought it was an Italian flag. I'll just zoom in on that really quick so people can see that. What is that? It looks like a Mexican flag. What is that? Who are you virtue signaling to?
To tell you the truth, I won't tell you. I'm just Jordan Peterson from Canada, the Commonwealth of the United Kingdom.
is reputation inflation. So the most valuable thing you possess by any stretch of the imagination is your reputation.
And that's the most valuable thing? Is it because, like, you can't go beyond a bad reputation even if you're a person of character? You're just stunted in society because it depends on who you talk to. Some people love you. I think you're brilliant, and I also think you're kind of silly sometimes. It's the pompous that gets me. That's what bugs me. But I have read one of your books, and the other one I have read, a good portion of it is Maps of Meaning. That one is like a giant textbook, and I didn't enjoy the Maps of Meaning as much as I did 12 Rules for Life. I'm looking that way because my bookshelf is over there. I'll show you what I'm talking about, okay? Why not? I have the means to go like this. Look, there's my bookshelf, everybody. Okay. Yeah, and then I'll come back over here and we'll resume this conversation with Jordan.
your reputation basically, I wouldn't call it a status marker exactly. It's a productive generosity and competence marker. And
that's what I mean. I myself am a wordsmith. I have a huge vocabulary. I've studied philosophy. I've read a million books, including your book. And what's funny to me about you, what makes you like a caricature to me, is that you're always so hoity-toity with your vocabulary, including I indulge in cultural isms when I'm like, hey, dude, what's going on, yo? That kind of junk. And you never indulge in, what is the term, slang or anything like that?
Sometimes you will say, God damn it.
But let's continue with you, my darling Jordan.
So if you have a good reputation, then people can trust you.
I'm only 49 seconds into this video. I've been recording for 6 minutes, and I'm less than a minute into this Jordan Peterson video. This one's going to be a long one, folks. Strap up. Smoke your bongs. Take your glass of wine and guzzle it and fill another. It's going to be a long hour with Jordan, and I hope to do a lot of I hope this is somewhat interesting, funny, and intellectual.
They can trust you to engage in reciprocal, productive interactions with them. They can trust you to take
See, you use words like reciprocal.
their
Okay, I'm going to pause every time you say a big word, and I'm just going to chime in on that.
interests into account as well as your own, and to play stable, voluntary, desirable, medium to long-term games. And so
Very articulate.
nothing is more valuable than your reputation.
Yes.
And what that means is that people try to game the reputation system. And that's what narcissists do, and Machiavellians. And
Do you, in order to game the reputation system, do you use big words? And then, like, when you talk about people gaming the narcissism, or no, when you talk about people being narcissistic, the next thing out of your mouth is like big words like Machiavellian.
psychopaths, they call that the dark triad. There's a lot of
Dark triad, that counts as a hoity-toity. If I ring that bell every time you go a little far with your vocabulary to express yourself, I'm going to be a real dick. I'm sorry. I really do like you, but let's continue.
research investigation into dark triad personality cluster.
It's those kinds of things. Dark personality triad cluster. It's all about the words and how you use them and how they synthesize a greater meaning.
And it's a variant of antisocial behavior. And narcissists
Tell me
have
about
the
me.
confidence of the competent without the competence. And so what
I
they
do
do
I
is
do appreciate the point you're making, and I won't make fun of that point. But you did say competence. That's a hoity-toity word, and you get the bell.
overclaim their contribution. So if you work with a narcissist, everything that goes wrong is your fault, and everything that goes right is their doing.
That's my life. I'm blamed for everything by so-and-so, but never mind that.
And they will loudly proclaim that, especially to their superiors, and denigrate you like mad
Denigrate gets the bell.
if you dare to offer a counter proposition. And narcissists, it's a
You are throwing out that word narcissist a lot as well, so I feel like one ding for the word narcissist, and I won't ding anymore for the word narcissist, unless I feel like it's a gratuitous narcissist, in which case you might be a narcissist if you're using the word narcissist gratuitously. Onward and upward, and let's elevate this discussion intellectually, shall we now?
Oh, I think it's time for that.
it's a camouflage strategy in
Camouflage gets
some
the
sense.
bell.
The narcissist passes him or herself off as
Oh,
a
man.
competent.
You keep saying that word narcissist, and I said I was going to ding if it's gratuitous, and you keep saying I'm tempted. We know we're going to ding the bell more for the word narcissist. Only 2 minutes, 10 seconds in, and I've been dinging this bell forever and pausing whenever you get hoity-toity with the words, dude. Pompous with the vocab, bro.
And confident person. And one way of elevating your reputation is to claim unearned moral virtue. And so a huge part of what motivates the woke nonsense that insists that the mere reflexive act of feeling sorry for someone constitutes a moral virtue is an attempt to claim a reputational status without having to do any of the work whatsoever to
Not one word in particular there am I besmirching, except that the whole sentence was so pompous and articulate that you get a bell.
be a genuinely good person. to be a good person, you have to be
I feel like
productive.
I'm not when I'm ringing the bell on you.
That's hard. And you have to be generous. And that's hard. And you have to play medium to long-term, stable, voluntary games with other people. And that's hard. That's nothing but diligent, upward-oriented work over years puts you in that position. Whereas if you make a unwarranted moral claim, I'm compassionate, let's say, then instantly you're with the angels. And it also allows you to derogate.
Derogate? Derogate. I've never even heard that big word, and I am a wordsmith myself, Jordan Peterson. That's all the bells you get for using derogate. Now define, you're going to use a word like that, define the word. I am going to ding you with the bell again if you don't define the word.
Those who you regard as predatory, let's say,
Derogate.
and also enhance your moral virtue. Not only am I compassionate, and that makes me good, but and I'm on the side of the
Every time you use a word I don't know as a wordsmith, I'm going to ding you just like I just dinged you.
angels, but there are the snakes, and they're not in me at all,
Derogate.
because I'm saintly in all regards. And so the snakes have
I am actually enjoying what you're saying right now, and I'm just doing my own thing over it. I think if I'm going to hear about this topic, you're the man I'd like to hear talk about it. That's for sure.
to be somewhere. We all suffer from the problem of where to put Satan, that's for sure. And the most convenient place to put him is in someone else. And it's even more convenient if that redounds to
In
your
someone
benefit
else.
and plays to your political aspirations.
I call people satanic, but when I call them satanic, I'm really feeling like there's something satanic about them. And I'm such a wimp that I don't want to be specific about the things right now that I feel are satanic, and they're just ravaging society. I'll give myself a bell for say ravaging right now. That's pretty high and mighty of me, hoity-toity word, ravaging.
I know a few persons like that, and a lot of them are very active on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, Twitter doesn't bring out the best in people, likely including me. So
Would you say
That's
this is
for
more
sure. I'm so glad you said that. That was modest. I appreciate that. A bell of appreciation for Jordan Peterson. It does not bring the best out of him. Twitter does.
it's a feminine style of
not.
antisocial behavior. So
cancel culture.
Feminine style of antisocial behavior. Twitter. That's a little sexist. Bell for you.
Well, there's two forms of antisocial behavior. There's a male form and a female form.
Right.
Or a masculine form, that's a better way of thinking about it, and a feminine form, because men can
Do
play
tell.
the feminine ASP game, antisocial personality, and men can play, or females can play the male game. Male antisocial types they tend to be physically violent.
Right.
And that's evident at the age of 2 already.
That might
so
be
there's
me.
a subset of 2-year-olds who are already criminals in the making, let's say.
Notwithstanding how good I look in a dress, that might be me. There's a rare smile on Jordan Peterson right there. I'm dying to hear this guy laugh really hard. I don't think I've ever heard him crack up really hard. What's that all about, man? I used to laugh all the time in junior high, and both of these are on right now. That's what's bugging me right now. So I'm thinking this one's on, and I'm looking at this one when I talk, but it's that one I need to be looking at right now. That's tricking me, I say, because the light's on.
They bite, kick, hit,
He's
and
smiling.
steal. If they're
A
put
rare
among
smile
other
from
2-year-olds.
Jordan Peterson.
Most of them are socialized out of it by the age of 4. Vast majority, but some aren't, and they tend to
don't
be
think I was.
outcasts from then on, because
Occasionally I
4-year-olds
have
don't
been.
like 4-year-old aggressive 2-year-olds. They won't play with them, and then they get isolated, and then they become
affects
bullies
you
and
too.
juvenile delinquents.
My God,
and
that
it's a
explains
bad
my whole
pathway. It's
life.
very stable too. It's very sad. It's very sad, actually. But the male pattern is violent, and we don't like violent criminals, and those are the people who tend to be locked up. And a disproportionate number of people, I think it's 95% in prisons, are male, and they're almost all violent. We're much harder on
Never been to prison. Here I am thinking you're talking about me, and then you bring up prison. I haven't been there yet. It's not too late.
petty violent criminals than we are on like the kinds of white-collar criminals who steal the pensions of like 60,000 people.
Right.
And that's not obvious that that's a wise distinction. But being mugged is no fun. So you can understand why that's so stringently controlled.
Oh, I do believe you said stringently. stringently, as a member of the British United Kingdom Commonwealth of Canada, I said the word stringent and it was too articulate for the context and the moment, and I apologize, and I want my reputation to be one of knowing lots of words and having a big vocabulary, because that is me. That is me, Jordan Peterson, and I'm all about it's my way of talking.
Female violent aggression doesn't work very well.
No.
First of all, girls tend not to fight physically with one another, and certainly
Maybe not in your Ivy League school or whatever, but I've seen girls go after one another. Haven't you ever heard of a cat fight?
girls can't fight. Girls can fight with boys because there's not much difference between girls and boys, say, before puberty in terms of physical strength. But once puberty hits, women can't compete in the physical aggression domain. And they're not inclined to either, because they could use guns and knives. But
I don't know what school you went to, but I have seen girls go after one another. I've seen girls online go after one another. I think it depends on their cultural upbringing. And I've seen a lot of girls who look so tough where I'm actually, as a man, I'm not the super toughest guy, but I've seen a lot of girls fight one another. I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't fight her.
we tend not to. But women have their own underground means of stealing, and they steal reputation, and they're very good at it, and it's very many women.
I concur wholeheartedly with that, Jordan. Dr. Peterson, sir.
Women are good at stealing, is what he said.
Kermit the Frog. So you raise that pitch up a little bit. Kermit the Frog.
You're easy, and you're in the tone of Dr. Jordan Peterson, who likes to use big words to synthesize ideas. And when you talk about a hypothesis, you suppose something that might happen when you project an idea onto the world and you want to know what will happen. So you make an empirical study. Never mind.
And many other men as well who use this pattern of derogation and reputation. And
Derogation again. Define derogation. Define derogation. You know what we're going to do? We're going to stop right in the middle of you and we're going to say derogation meaning. Okay? And I'm going to read it to you guys right now. Meaning, no exemption from or relaxation of a rule or law. I don't understand how you're using the perception or treatment of someone or something as being of little worth. Okay. I think I might understand the context in which you're using it now. Derogation. Does that clear it up, everyone?
enhancement.
And is this a scientific fact?
Yes, absolutely. This is a well-developed
Don't you know when you ask Dr. Jordan Peterson if something is a scientific fact, he will say, yes, don't you know?
psychiatric literature stemming back decades.
Right.
Decades, man, decades. That's 365 days a year. That's 365 times 10. Times several more.
You know, I've talked about this publicly several times, and the journalists I talk to are always stunned that how could I possibly propose such a thing? It's like, well,
I'm practicing my Jordan Peterson impression as I listen to him, so I'm mimicking his words, and you'll just have to bear with me.
50-year literature on it. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Yeah. And it's reputation savaging and
Oh, that's gratuitous vocab right there, reputation savaging. I wish I thought of that. So I'm making fun of you a lot for being all articulate and stuff, but I am articulate as well, and I love a man who is putting words together in such a beautiful way as you do. So my hat's off to you, man.
I know I'm so great.
derogation.
Derogation, the third use of derogation. And I think I forgot the meaning of derogation.
Girls, you can't play with us. You can't sit with us. No, and
Stop. Go back.
yeah. And it's reputation savaging and derogation. Mean girls, you can't play with us. You can't sit with us. Derogation. Mean girls, you can't play with us.
You can't sit with us.
No, and that mean girls, you can't play with us.
You can't sit with us.
Again.
No, and that's simultaneously
Too much fall over the top.
elevation and also a derogation of the other.
Derogation again? Get a different word today, Jordan. You're overusing the word. So I'm going to have to give you the penalty of several rings of the bell for the overuse of that word. I know you're an articulate man. I've heard you do it many times. I think you need to dig deeper into your pocket of available words to say what you want to say. Imagine like as if the Queen of England were watching from beyond the grave. She's watching now. She's listening now, and you keep saying derogation. That's dishonoring the monarchy.
Very effective and
by not using the full breadth of our beautiful English language that was passed down from us from the motherland of the royal kingdom. Come on now, man.
very pernicious and extreme.
Oh, I would ding a bell for the word pernicious in the dark, in the mud, in a toilet. You say pernicious and you get the bell.
Extremely difficult to control. Like, what do you do
I love
about
that
it?
word too.
If you're a girl and you're isolated and shamed in that way, what can you do? You can't really use recourse to authority, because if you go tell a teacher, let's say you're being picked on in junior high, then you're just laughed at because you can't handle your own battles, and you can't bring it to a physical, to the point of physical altercation. You can't.
You say they can't, but these days, in case you haven't noticed, Jordan, in society, women act like they're the cat's meow, and so therefore they can do whatever they want. They will take it upon themselves to hate the men, and then they want to be men. Is that not paradoxical? That's pernicious right there, sir. I must protest the way women do that.
If you're a man, and that happens very rapidly with men, and which is why it almost never happens. It happens almost immediately with men.
Not with you, though, bro. You're beta. You wax philosophical constantly about men and beta and alpha and all that stuff. You talk about that stuff. But I've never seen you throw a punch. And sometimes I've seen some people come after you, and you know what they deserved? They deserved a nice sundae with a cherry on top.
It's like, what did you say? Mm-hmm. Do you want to say that again? And any man worth his salt knows how to play that game. And so generally among men, this just doesn't happen. No. Now,
what that phrase right there is so, I want to ring the bell, but I'm not.
Twitter, online, that's a different story, because that pathway of reputation denigration beckons, and social media facilitates its distribution.
Oh my God, you said denigration, you said the word facilitates. At least one bell for how articulate you are. And it's not gratuitous, I'm just picking on you. I like you. I want to simultaneously say how much I like you as I pick on you.
In an appalling manner.
When you say appalling, I hear my name in it. Appall. I am a Paul, a singular Paul. Please continue.
It might be the death of all of us, that. So the incentive structures on the social media platforms, the social communication platforms, are wrong, because the antisocial, psychopathic, Machiavellian, narcissistic types.
Oh my God, are you out of your mind? All those words you string together, I do the same thing sometimes when I'm making points with people. I'm like, check out how smart I am. I'm going to use all these words to demonstrate the breadth of my incredible vocabulary as you ponder the many, many, many years that I have digested vocabulary from studying amazing books and literature.
Whose reputation, derogation,
see how I was just doing
are
that?
Privileged
derogation
in their
again,
communications and not punished.
You and that word
very
derogation.
Bad idea.
You need to stop it with the derogation. Okay, he's done. My God, I'm drunk on words with that guy.
You know, I'm just being myself, and we're talking about reputation and what will happen to our reputation if women are predatory with their reputation, is from what he just said was. And I'm going to reference what the Queen of England thinks from her grave, dead in the ground, because if we don't know what it's about, look when we exhume the Queen and we sniff on her flesh and bones
and whatever. I'm done. Everybody, that was me just reacting to Jordan Peterson. I expect I will do that again with him in the future because I like a lot of the things he says. He's articulate, but it's like other than being high class cultured, he has no slang. You got to say bro. You got to say bruh. You got to say, hey, man, what's cooking good looking? Do you remember Pauly Shore? He's like, oh, man. How do I've referenced Pauly Shore and like, what the hell did Pauly Shore say? Oh, man. I'm ending it on that pathetic note. Everybody, have a nice day. Tomorrow there will be more accent lights here. I'm still bewildered about how to decorate this. I relocated this and I find myself looking over here instead of here. It's going to take something to break the habit. God bless you all. Peace be with you all. And also with you.